10th rated in the ACC, number 61 nationally, according to 247 Sports, as it stands right this second, with only 8 out of what should be in the 20 range eventually. So let's talk about the last 24 to 48 hours and what's happened and transpired, the good and the bad.
All right, so we're going to start with the bad because I mentioned that I was a little tardy this morning. So at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time, Valenta flipped Carswell, an offensive lineman from Georgia, lived up to his name, his nickname, and flipped from Miami to Ole Miss. And, you know, my guy, Lane Kiffin. So he signed, and Kiffin put out the graphic and everything, say it's Happy Flip Miss, because that's his nickname, it's Flip. So that was the first thing. Actually, no, sorry, pause, stop, time out. The first thing was last night when Landon Abeta, the 3-star wide receiver from Mandeville, Louisiana, finally flipped to LSU, because after Brian Kelly got there, he got that offer from the home state team, and that was the one that he wanted. And, Manny Diaz, the coach that he was committed to at Miami, is no longer here. And so that's a perfect confluence for Landon Abeta, where he's like, hey, like, the guy that I was going to go play for at Miami is not there. And pretty transparently, the offer I've been holding out for finally popped, because LSU gets an inordinate amount of players from Louisiana. Like, they get everybody. And Landon Abeta can play. So, he's a slot receiver and a kick and punt returner. And I know people are like, oh, I don't know where he would play here. Watch the film. That's a kid who would have found his way onto the field here. Okay. And so that was the first tangible movement on the trail last night. Then this morning, like I said, a little bit before I woke up, Flip Carswell flipped to Ole Miss. So you have that. Outside of that, a lot of it stayed true to form. So the guys who, and let me go over and look at what I've written because I've been keeping up with it. Sorry. So signing period open thread, which is still up on the website. If I reverse scroll from the bottom up. So the first thing was Jacurri Brown, your quarterback in this class from Valdosta Lowndes High School. He was the first one to sign, followed closely in proximity by Chris Graves from Fort Myers, Bishop Verreau. Jacurri Brown has been set on Miami for a long time. However, Florida apparently met with him last week and tried to get him to not sign now, to sign in February, to push him to be able to try to flip him. But he said, Chuck Deuces, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to Miami. Thanks. Which is great. Chris Graves is another kid who was being pursued heavily by SEC teams. But he shut everything down, faxed his NLI, National Letter of Intent, for those who are wondering that acronym. So his NLI, he sent that in to Miami also. So that was it wasn't a massive win, like you're taking him away from somebody else, but like that was a pretty big, move or situation of the class to keep Chris Graves. 6'1", 180 pounds. He can gain some weight, like a sub-11 guy in the 100. Okay, he's played wide receiver. He's played defensive back. High school teammates of Malik Curtis, who went to Bishop Verreau, who I still think should play offense, but whatever. But Chris Graves is more polished as a defensive back because he played more on defense than Malik Curtis did as coming up. He also is a game-breaking wide receiver, a guy with great speed who can, outrun angles and things like that. The biggest thing for him that's really exciting, apart from, size, length, speed, and already demonstrated skill, Chris Graves is not going to be 18 until the middle of fall camp. So he's a year and a half, almost 2 years younger than grade level. If you think you have guys who are 18 and a half, things like that, not 19 anymore in the state of Florida because the FHSAA closed that. But yeah, he turned 17 in fall camp right before the first game of this current school year. So the fact that he's so young chronologically, because he's at his birthday is like one of the last dates for this, class, when he went to first grade and everything, that's massive, So, the advantage of youth, a longer time for development and things like that. So he's probably further away from his athletic peak than other guys, and he's still already performing at the level where he is. That has to be really exciting for everybody. So that's, that. Let me see. Next up to sign after those guys was Isaiah Horton from Tennessee, the 6'3" wide receiver, who's been the #1 target for state champion Murfreesboro Oakland High School for the last couple of years, averaging almost 20 yards a catch both of those years. They do have a heavy run offense, but in the passing game, they're going to be looking his way, if anywhere. And he's lived up to that. He also wrote a nice piece that I put in his or in the commitment or in the notebook, I think, where he wrote in his own words why he chose Miami with his local newspaper, and basically said Miami's home. It feels like home. This is the place that I want to be. Even through the coaching change, they made me a priority right up front. Basically this is a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision, kind of thing in his own words. So that was really cool. And he's the only receiver in this class to this point. So obviously he's a major component of this class. And he's 6'3", which is the size of, that we've seldom had at wide receiver. Not even like a Charleston Rambo. He was 6'1", 6'1.5". So you're talking Lawrence Cager or Brian Hightower at that kind of size on the outside, not a tight end kind of thing. So he adds a different dimension to the wide receiver room. Which is pretty cool. Next up was Markeith Williams from Orlando Evans High School, a heat-seeking missile in the middle of the field, so he can cover a lot. And he's rail thin. He's 6'1", like 160 pounds, but don't let that fool you. Brandon Merriweather was not a massive dude either, and he would knock your head off coming across the middle. And Markeith Williams is that kind of heat-seeking rocket as well. I didn't get the chance to finish his notebook. His is one of the ones that I had to finish this evening, but I'm going to do everything that I need to get that to happen. Let me see, around just before 10 o'clock, it came out that Julian Armella from St. Thomas Aquinas, 4-star offensive tackle, is not signing today or anytime during the early period. And he was basically pretty much 99% going to go to Florida State. But Florida State's offensive coordinator is gone to Oregon, I believe. And they just promoted the offensive line coach to co-offensive coordinator. But Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal are pushing for Armella. Armella, who played last year at Miami Christopher Columbus. And if you know anything, Mirabal and Cristobal went to Columbus. They're best friends from Columbus. And I know that he lives up here again. He does Armella, and he goes to Aquinas. Well, I don't even know if he lives up here. But still, he goes to Aquinas and everything. And Aquinas kids cannot enroll early. There's certain schools that have like that religion credit or whatever, that second semester senior year that you cannot take early. So St. Thomas Aquinas is one of the schools where you cannot enroll early. So why sign early if I'm having any kind of doubt? And that actually worked in our favor. And remember, Xavier Restrepo went to Aquinas for 3 years, but he wanted to enroll early. That's why he left there and transferred to Deerfield Beach. Okay, so these parochial schools, if they have that religion credit, where it's like, no, you have to be on campus, you have to do that second semester senior year, that can play in different ways. And we'll see if Miami's really able to get Armella, because like I said, coming into today, it looked like he was going to wear garnet and gold, but yeah. Let's see. So we're all through that. Wesley Besaint signed with Miami, #1 linebacker from Miami Central High School. Just an incredible talent. Again, people in the industry even said that he's more talented than last year's 5-star Terrence Lewis, who played next to him in the linebacking core at Central. Even though Besaint is only a 4-star, there are plenty of people down here who I've heard say that Besaint is the better prospect. Now, it would just be nice if Terrence Lewis wanted to transfer here and we could have both of them on the field together and work it out again. Who knows? But yeah, Wesley Besaint staying down here, that's a massive get. And he was a guy who pretty much looked like he was going to go to Florida State. Florida State fumbled that bag, and we picked that up.